I believe we're live. Episode number 336. Soldiers of Self-Mastery Studios. YouTube channel, SOSM. Welcome to Your Solution podcast. We're going to get started here in just a few seconds. We are heroes tonight. All right, let me get back in here. Let me see who's visiting here today. Welcome. We're going to get started. Welcome. We're going to bring Jim on board here. Let me see. Okay. Just a minute. Oh, that was abruptly. All right, we'll put a stop there. Let me double check everything. We are live. Welcome, Jim, all the way from Tucson, Arizona. This is your hour of power. Let me see. Did we get Jim in here? Let me bring him on.
Hi there, Santos. Good evening.
Great evening to everybody. This is sorry about that. This is your hour of power, your power of hour. We're going to be here for 45 minutes, exactly 45 minutes. And we've got some interesting things going on tonight here on this broadcast. Number 336, Jim is with us all the way from Tucson. I believe it's Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona.
How's Tucson, Arizona tonight, Jim?
It's pretty nice. Nice week. Warmer temperatures, blue skies. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we're broadcasting. It looks like let me double check. It looks like we are broadcasting. Okay, I had to double check that. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. I had to. I'm broadcasting. Let me see. We're broadcasting Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Yeah, we finally got that little thing together. So we're going to be here for 45 minutes. Number 336. This is your hour of power. I invite you to come inside, ask your question. This is a place right here. Get comfortable. Please ask your question. We're going to create environment, right? An environment for peace, for growth, and for prosperity. So get inside, buckle up, click the little thing, either, click it or tick it, and turn down all distractions. Hopefully you got a pen, POI, little stationary thing going on. And I'm going to invite you. We can create the best out of this environment, 45 minutes. And I'm going to let Jim share just a little bit on the topic. We have a proverb. We have a call to action. We have a 30-minute. All right, Jim, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I found out that someone, not really so much an acquaintance, but someone I kind of knew, they committed suicide. They killed himself. He killed himself. And it was because of his physical condition. He had bone cancer. Okay, and he decided apparently that there was no more hope. There's no more hope for his life. There's nothing really worth. Everything just looked bleak, and it made me think about hope. The idea, what drives us to continue, in our life, what drives us to, pursue life. And I think it has something to do with, seeing a better tomorrow, or tomorrow that gives us peace of mind. And, I can understand, I don't know. I mean, like his situation, that's a really tough situation when, your physical health is going to go ahead and be deteriorating. You're going to be in pain, and you're going to be burdening. You think that you're going to be burdening other people. And I think a lot of people on this program, they kind of feel the same way, in regards to hope. There is no hope. There is there's nothing that I can do, or I think I can do, that'll improve this situation. I've tried many things and they didn't work. What's the point, I'm only hurting my family. I'm hurting myself. Things are not getting better. So I mean, uh the people who have this kind of addiction, gambling addiction, whatever kind of addiction, problem gambling, it could beat down, an individual so much that they say, you know what, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. I don't want any more of this pain. So I was thinking about, talking about the idea of like, how can we manufacture hope, you know, for the problem gambler? Can we manufacture hope for a person who's suffering from addiction or some type of mental issue? You know, um, I think that's important. I mean, physical, I can understand. It's what can you do? Life, terminal illness. Only getting worse. Cancer. You know. Um,
Yeah, that's
However, in I guess the problem gambler situation, you know, I think there is hope, but there's a method to gain that hope, right, Santos? There's a method, and I think a lot of these
yeah.
people who do commit suicide, problem gamblers, people with addictions, they just don't know. They don't have the information, right? They 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 don't know. So maybe we can talk about that.
Well, yeah, we can discuss that. I know that has a lot to do with emotional intelligence also. And my condolences to the family of the loved one or
Hmm.
the friend. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not a good. It's not a good thing. We lose family and friends. It's a strange mystery that tomorrow I might not be here. You might not be here, Jim. That's the reality we have today. We have right now. Let me acknowledge those of you that are here. I really want to uh, let you know that this isn't just a place for us to come, and we're going to acknowledge the hope Jim's kind of thinking about where as a topic. I definitely want to acknowledge Laura for being here. Out of time, out of time. Thank you for coming out here. Mark, Jesse, and those of you that are watching via Instagram or Facebook. I want to welcome you to this. 45 minutes are going to go by very quickly, folks. In fact, we've already gone, what is it, almost 10 minutes. So we have about another 30 minutes into this program. And hopefully we can look at this and think about, is there hope? Is there hope? Or, should we start giving in? Just start giving up, start giving in because there is no hope. Man, I've tried to stop doing this thing 20 times and haven't been able to do it, right? I tried 3 times. It feels like I tried 3 times. It feels like it was forever. Couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. Couple of things that I want to share too. There's a little video that I'm going to play later on. And uh, I believe that we're all, let me see, the scams and the lies and the crypto, and you on the other side, right? You on the other side. Uh, how is your wise? How is your emotional in thinking? How is your emotional intelligence? And that's what we're going to kind of focus on a little bit here. Hopefully, we can walk out of this place a little bit smarter. You know, if we can walk out of here tonight a little bit smarter, would it be worth your 45 minutes that you spent here? Tristan, welcome. I'm doing super fantastic, terrific over the top. Jim is, I'll let him speak. Brian, let's see. Is your shirt from Versace? No, I think I got it at Ross. but it's a nice shirt. Raw special. I don't know. I might have, but I liked it, and it kind of fits a little bit, so it works out. Thank you for acknowledging my shirt. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, it looks snazzy.
Yeah,
It looks snazzy. Yeah. So, um, yeah,
Caleb.
sometimes we can get excited. We can get excited, you know. We read something, we listen to something, right? And we even try something out. But life gives us a lot of sidewinders, right? You talked about sidewinders before, and
Yeah,
one of my questions is, how do we maintain? How do we sustain? Hope. How do we keep? It's almost like a fire, right? With a
yeah.
fire, you have to keep adding, adding something, to your fire, right? The kindling, wood, you know, to keep that
Paper,
desire, right? Exactly.
gasoline.
Whatever,
Yeah,
right? Some type of
yeah,
stored energy, right? Something that has that stored energy. So sustaining, I mean, it's like, that success that we have happens over a long period of time, little by little, right? It's not just one moment, right? In this day and age, everyone wants a quick fix. Everyone wants, an easy way out. You know, but that's not the deal, right? That's not how it's done. I mean, it has to be
um,
sustained. It has to be sustained over a long period. And I think that's another question that we can go and ask ourselves: how do we, keep that fire burning, that desire, the hope, right, the optimism, for a better day tomorrow. I can be better tomorrow. I can improve. I am improving. You know, what does it take?
yeah, yeah. What's it take? What's it take, Jesse? What's it take, Mark? What's it take out of time? What's it take, Caleb? What's it take, YouTube? What's it take, Instagram? What's it take?
You're talking.
Jubio,
You're
Eric, Brian. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, you were talking about the right environment, right? That's
Hmm.
something, right? And being
Yeah.
consistent. We were talking also about accountability, right?
Hmm.
Making ourselves accountable, putting ourselves in a position where we're kind of forced, you know, to keep our actions in line with what we say. Uh, what is it like? Was it Jim Rohn said something about what's affirmation without activity is like delusion, beginning of delusion, something like that, right? So we have to be pushed into activity, pushed into activity. It's like if you're working, right? That's a good place. Your job, your boss, it keeps you in line, even though you feel uncomfortable, even though you'd rather not do it. You know, it pushes you, right? It pushes you. We need something. How do we put ourselves in a situation where you know we're kind of like pushed? I know that we have to be pulled as well, um, but sometimes that extra push from other people can help us too, or the right environment.
Well, here's what's important, and I'm going to ask a couple of questions also. Let me see if I have them written down. I did have them written down. Um, we are talking about hope, talking about create. This is an environment right here. We're creating, folks. We're creating environment here, and I know that sometimes it might be a little bit personal. We can't really get too personal on here. Some folks are real sensitive. I want to assure you that if you visit with me down below, you have a question that you can't get an answer for, we're gonna I'm gonna do my best to reach out to you. I'm not gonna leave you hanging like most people have. I'm not gonna do that to you. So if you have a question that you want to ask and you can't ask it here for some reason in the chat, send it to me. I'll respond via email. Hey, I might even set something up with you. I've got something really cool that we're putting in place. over at soldiersofselfmastery.com. I'm going to share that with you here tonight. Hopefully you're listening, paying attention. I've got something really dynamic to help problem gamblers, to support problem gamblers. They're going to get they're going to get an opportunity of a lifetime here. I'm going to be sharing that with you soon. Something new that I've come up with to break. And by the way, gambling, I forgot to say this. I got distracted. Gambling is dead. It's a lie. It's a far cry. Remember that. Gambling is a lie. It's dead. It is a lie. It's a far cry. I almost forgot to say that. And once again, episode number 336, right? We're creating the environment here for peace, growth, and prosperity. What kind of prosperity? Hope, right? Can hope be a prosperity? Yes. We're talking about hope, right? Some people don't have any hope. Sadly, we had and I'm sure Jim, right along with your friend, your a family friend, there's many others that probably have committed suicide also. So it's like there's so much going on, and it is affecting us if we're not preparing, if we're not doing, if we're not preparing, if we're not doing. What should you be doing is the question, right? What should you be doing regarding what you're facing and who you are as your person? You know, how are you developing you as a person, a man or a woman? How are you developing yourself? So you come here again. We come here and we meet. We ask questions. So you're welcome to do that. And I'm looking out into the chat. I want to ask you something though. Can you name 7 emotions? Can you name 7 emotions? Because if you don't know what's really going on, and believe me, this is a question that I ask myself also. Can you name 7 emotions? And they're inside you, right? These things are going on inside you. If you can't name 7 emotions, then the likelihood is that you're probably being manipulated in some of those areas. That's the likelihood. You're being manipulated in some of those areas. For sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. So I think this is really important for us creating hope. I believe it is. And I want to acknowledge Caleb. Thank you for your support. Thank you for that. I appreciate you for doing that. I got to read the proverb real quick. First John, and then we'll get back to looking at a few things here. For who? First John 4:20 says, if a man say, I love God and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen? Wow. That's heavy. That's like, show me your works or show me your faith by your works, right? You don't show, or you show somebody your works. Can somebody see through your work your faith? Does that make sense? I might be confusing you. Physician, heal thyself. Physician, know thyself. And that's kind of a quest that we should all be on. If we truly want hope, I believe that you're going to have to come to get to know yourself somehow, some way better. Because if you don't, how are you going to put it together? Jim, you talked about little by little. Let me look at the comments, and I'm going to have you share here. Let me see. So there was a question. There's a couple questions. Brian, thank you for the question. There was one question that I watched. What games were you playing? Really quickly, I was just scratchers, gamble. I used to roll the dice. They call it craps. Isn't that something? Craps. CRAPE. Craps. I used to roll craps. And then I migrated to the slot machines or the slut machines. And I do a lot of scratchers and stuff like that. So that was what I did. And I don't find joy in those things anymore. In fact, I do think about them once in a while. There's still temptations, right? They just don't have a grip on me like they used to. They don't have a grip on me. They used to grip me like this. But now it's like just the more time, it just goes further and further apart. I don't even think about gambling. Thank you for the question. Real quick, let me get back to let me see. There was another question here. And my shirt is from Ross. It's a nice shirt, though. It looks like Versace, huh? Something like that. Anyways, what does have to be? What if there is a win waiting for me and I leave right after? Well, the goal is to discipline your mind, right, to get to that place where you're strong in yourself. You'll find that if you can get that discipline, or when, not if, Santos, come on now, when you get that discipline, you can go into a casino and you can win a jackpot and walk out. That's discipline that most people want, right? Unfortunately, that's a hard discipline to keep, because when you go to the casino, even if you win, you're not going to keep winning. You can have the discipline in your mind. Eventually, you're going to realize, wait a minute, this is a lie. This is dead. So in order for me to make it in life, I better get ahead, get myself out the front doors and stay out of there. I'm not going to judge you if you're gambling. If you gamble, that's your sin. But eventually, if that's your sin, if that's what you do, there's a consequence to that. If you're willing to accept that, then you're a man of whatever. It's the consequence, right? Cause and effect. But ultimately, gambling is just a big fat lie. It is. It's going to eat you. It's going to drill you from the inside. It'll drill a hole right through you. It'll drill, right? And you'll leak all over the place.
Yeah,
You'll leak.
Santos, you talked about, it's like you said, you have a beer once in a while, right? But once you kind of, understand how devastating an addiction can be, how it can go ahead and, destroy many aspects of your life, it doesn't taste good anymore, And I think, when you get to that point of it really disrupting your life, I think it really should get to the point of you just saying that, what, I don't like this anymore. I don't want it. I don't want it. Even if I hit something, if I, win something, I just look at what it brought to my life, you know. I mean, you can go on kind of thinking that way. I mean, yeah, I
Right.
think
Yeah.
it is so difficult. I mean, I was talking about moderation today, and I was thinking moderation is probably one of the most difficult things, to
Yeah.
have, because that takes a lot of discipline. We talk about,
Well, how does?
yeah,
But how does? Let me ask you this: how does moderation? How is moderation going to help your hope?
I think for a person who's addicted or is struggling and fighting addiction, it's just something that they shouldn't even touch. Really, if you're a problem gambler, if you're a problem drinker, if you're a problem eater, you know these
Mhm.
things right here, those are hot buttons that will just mess you up, and you just should just avoid that kind of stuff.
Emotional hot buttons. See, that's where we fall prey. We're good thinkers, Jim. Most people are really good thinkers. We have good thoughts.
Yeah.
But what is an emotion? What are emotions? Should you pay attention to your emotions? We do a lot of thinking. I believe we do a lot of thinking most of the time. The problem is that we're not emotionally, we're not balanced. The emotions are not really tied into our thinking. So we could be manipulated in the emotional department and not even really be aware of it. You could probably be manipulated in your mind too, right? In your thoughts, but there's got to be a connection between your mind, thoughts, thinking, and your emotional intelligence. When we begin to connect those, it brings hope. It brings hope. It brings a little hope, but it brings hope. And that it's like where do emotions come? I believe God created emotion within man, right? That's what I believe. I believe love and hate are two master emotions. I believe love is probably at the top, or anger. And then all these other ones, right? You're talking about all these other uh, fear, excitement, like byproducts. I believe that we have to really understand what's going on inside of us, at least begin to get some kind of a clue, because it is mixed. It's kind of confusing, emotions and all that stuff. When you start really reading inside yourself and you start thinking, right, you connect. I call it mind mouth power congruency, because it is all. It's your spirit, it's your soul, it's your emotions, it's your thought, it's your mouth, what you're saying. Mind mouth power congruency. Most people have it in reverse. Man, they're running, but they're going in reverse, right? MMPC in reverse, and you sometimes you say, "Hey, you're running. I don't got time to talk to you. I gotta, they're running backwards, man. It's like, oh man, geez, maybe there's another way I can reach that person." And we see them, boom, 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 and we're slowly trying to get traction going forward because we were there too. We were going backwards, the backwards man. Emotional intelligence is going to give you the hope that you're looking for. It's going to give you a little bit of hope, enough hope to get you going, enough hope to give you hope, right? You got to get enough hope to give you hope so that you can get going forward. Hopefully, I'm making sense here in what I'm saying, but you should know, I should know what triggers my emotions. Can I name 7 of them? Can you name 7 emotions? I don't know how many people can. But it's interesting, right? You ask yourself the question, can I name 7? Can I look in the mirror at myself and name 7 emotions that I go through that I know that, you know, you're not being manhandled? That's interesting, man. Because gambling is touching quite a few of them. You see, I don't know if you can see this diagram here. Maybe you can. It looks like roots. Can you see that there? Roots, right? That's what I thought. There's little emotions that come out of love and anger. I think love and anger probably at the top, and then all these other little by emotions come out of there. It narrows it, makes it easier, right? It makes it easier because some people think, man, I got all kinds of emotions. Well, what about, they all come from love and hate, either love or hate, and they all have that cobweb that goes from there. That's what I believe. To me, it makes it simple. Okay, well, I need to understand my love. I need to understand my hate. At least I could work with that. Do I love gambling? Do I hate gambling? Do I really understand what hate is? Do I understand what love is? Do I really, really, really understand it? Emotional intelligence is what I believe is, that's what's giving me hope more this year, because we are facing a lot of uncertainties. There's a lot of uncertainties that we're just going to go through this year, and we things that we don't know. We just don't know. But you know about you, right? I know about me. That's a good thing. You go through the storm. You fall in a pothole, right? You make the left turn and you made it too soon, or you're just traveling through life at, you're going 75 in the 35, or you could be going 35 in the 65. Emotional intelligence, right? Emotional intelligence. Hopefully, man, I'm hoping that somebody got something out of this broadcast here. And we're 30-minute mark, so I'm going to look at the first of all, once again, I want to thank you. And we're going to look at this question here for Brian. Again, if you have a question and you feel like maybe you want more, you need more. I'm about to give you something here. Okay. I will, even Jim, if you're able to reach us, or when you're able to reach us, if when you decide to reach us, you can reach down through soldiersofselfmastery.com. And I do want to thank Caleb Pitts for the support. Okay, we have the Soldiers of Self Mastery website that has a community for gamblers to unite that want to learn. There's a lot of good stuff there. Some of it is a little bit of an investment on your part, and then a lot of it is costless. It doesn't cost anything. All right, we've got videos, we've got audio books, we've got we even have a Facebook group. It's a small group. Some people are in there. You're welcome to join us. We have a podcast every Sunday. We do here. And then we've got tools. We've got books. In fact, this is my book. Let me read something to you real quick. And then I want to offer you or share something with you. The struggle that most gamblers face, right here, the struggle, page 10, is that they make the initial decision to change, but they struggle to keep that decision. I believe it's emotional at the forefront of their minds. That's the key. Finding ways to honor and remind yourself of that decision, anchoring it as if your life depended on it. It ultimately comes down to belief. What will cause you to believe and keep that belief turned on? Jim talked about that earlier. Keeping something on will help you keep that belief turned on. All right. The last, and then I'm going to give Jim an opportunity to answer a question. Smash that. Yeah, make sure that you're subscribed. John Smith, make sure that you're subscribed, please. And again, comment is very simple for us to work together and help support others too. Comment, leave a thumbs up, support a contribution if you feel supported and you want to support this mission, right? I believe it's a great cause. And do you support great causes? Is my question to you. So keep the number 23 in mind. The other thing is, I've now opened up 5 available spots for any problem gambler or any addiction. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you're going through. It doesn't matter what it is to me. That doesn't matter. Okay. The thing is that I'm going to give you an opportunity for a strategy session. We're just opening this up, 5 slots. Once the 5 slots are filled, I'm not going to open up anymore. You can sit with me for 45 minutes or so for a donation of $25 or more, whatever you want to give to the mission. You give that donation, and we will make a strategy session for you. Okay, you want 1 or 2 donation. I'm not asking my coaching prices or anything like that right now. We're doing this to support you on the other side because I read the comments, I feel you, I see you, and I know the struggle. So I'm offering this to anyone. I don't care what problem you have. I'm talking to Instagram, talking to YouTube, I'm talking to Facebook. Heck, I'm even talking to myself. $25 donation or more will get you a 45-minute strategy session. You pick the goal. You pick whatever it is that you want to focus on. It's your choosing. It's your question. It's whatever it is. And we'll do our best in that 45 minutes to crack that rock wide open so that you can get that solution that you need. If indeed you are somebody that's looking for something like this. All right? We're talking about probably one of the most powerful brainstorming sessions that you will ever be in. Put it that way. In that 45 minutes. So it's going to take an individual that really wants something, and $25 or whatever it is that you want to donate is a hefty, right? That's huge. That's huge. $25 in a casino go very, very far. Very far. Well, anyhow, that's not a joke. That's to be so there it is. And once again, the 7th-day challenge is on. We're going to be starting the 7th-day challenge once again Sunday. All right. So there's my 30 minutes. Again, Tristan, John Smith, Brian says, what does gamble? What does it mean to gamble? I'm gonna let Jim answer that as I go through some of these other the text. Folks, I'm here. Listen, this is our community. We've got another 10, 15 minutes. If you like what's happening here, you want to get something out of this, put in. Come on. It's Sunday night. Monday's coming. By the way, tomorrow's a holiday. Didn't want it to be a holiday. So go ahead, Jim. Take a shot. We're gonna watch a short video here on emotional intelligence, kind of a cartoon type, which is good for all of us. Just a few minutes. Please be present. Be here. Get something, or you're gonna get got. If you don't get something here, you're going to get got somewhere. And it doesn't feel good. Did you ever get been got, Jim?
Many times.
Yeah, doesn't feel good at all.
Got bad, yeah. But in regards to what does it mean to gamble, I think gambling is taking a risk, right? In hopes of getting some kind of reward, some type of benefit. Okay. And, I mean, like, you know, well, you can go out and gamble on many things. I mean, and you can put up many things of value,
Mhm.
and you could get a reward or you can lose what you put up. I mean, a lot of people you can be gambling on watching this podcast right now, right? Because you're putting up your time in hopes of what? In hopes of
Yeah,
changing yourself for the better, right?
a
That could be a
return.
gamble, right? It's a risk, right? I mean, um, but there's good gambles and there's bad gambles, right? I mean, a bad gamble is putting something of value where the odds are you you might not you're not going to get a reward, and you lose something significant. Money, right? Money, time, right? you
Mhm.
know um, and I mean, and there's those gambles where it's like once it's gone, and that's something that's tangible, like your money. um
Yep.
I think we talked about this before, gambling on yourself. You can gamble on yourself. What you're doing right now, anyone who's watching this is gambling on themselves. You're putting up your time,
Yep.
your
Yep.
effort, your energy, in hopes of changing your life for the better. Okay. And let's
Mhm.
say that you lose more money maybe next week or something like that. All right. And you can say, well, I lost, that was a bad gamble. But, you know, that could not be right, because if you say, what, I'm not going to give up on myself, I'm going to continue putting forth the effort, I'm going to go out. And you can even think about, this good form of gambling is walking in faith, right? Walking in faith, taking steps, towards something that's noble, that's good, that's
Mhm.
right, right? Yes, anything can happen, right? Anything can
Small
happen,
steps.
right? Anything can happen. But you, based upon what you say, your experience, other people's experience in overcoming addiction, right? It's like
Mhm.
it was done before. These things make sense. I'm going to walk towards that, you know? And, it's like you talked about emotions, handling emotions. How do we handle our emotions in the best way? Well, it could be our focus and it can be our activity, right? It's like, what are we walking towards? Right? What are we walking towards? Are we walking towards our fear? Are we walking towards our anxiety, our anger, our jealousy? You know, the fear of losing, the fear of missing out, right? Or are we walking towards something that's like light, right? Something that brings out the best in us. Yes, we
That
could
he's
go out
going to
and
give hope.
yeah, right. So I mean, yeah, there are many forms of gambling, right? Taking a risk, but I think the best kind of gamble that you can do is walking, in the correct direction of all the things that you talk about, you know in order to be gamble free, in order to be addiction free, you know taking
And
those
even
steps.
if you're gambling, right? Even if you're gambling, you might be here. You maybe you don't even have intentions on gambling or on quitting gambling. You might not have an intention on quitting gambling. I'm glad you're here. Go gamble if you want to. Gamble. But remember this, that what Jim was just talking about, if you're going to do something, you better be smart about it. You better get smart about it, because if you don't get smart, um, again, you're going to get got. You're going to get outsmarted. And we think we're rational. We think we're intelligent people most of the time, and we don't stop to think about what's really going on. We just think that we're so, we're smart. I've got all these, man, I've been through all these. I talk to psychiatrists, I talk to doctors, look at all these certificates. Yet I lack emotional intelligence. um I appreciate all of you guys: Tristan, Laura, Mike Labreeze, Mike Labreeze, Mark. Let me see, was it Tristan? I got him. John Smith, Brian, Laura, Mark, Thistle guy. If you guys, Jubio, Brian, I don't know how many of you are still here. If you have a question, feel free to ask. If you don't get the question, ask it down below. I don't want this to be just a show. It really isn't a show. I think, in a sense, this is a little boring. And it's okay because you have to, in order to get better, you're going to have to go through some kind of boring. In fact, Elon Musk has a company called the Boring Company. I don't know why that. Anyways, I wanted to share something though that really touched my heart. On Dennis Sanchez or Dennis Hernandez. Why did I say Dennis Sanchez? So Brian, Eric, Caleb. Well, those of you that are watching via Facebook and Instagram. But I did an interview. We're going to be ending here pretty soon here, and we're going to watch a little bit of this video. I did an interview on Officer or Sheriff Sam Krish. Sam Krish is in prison. He got sentenced in in 2019, I believe, maybe late 2019. He was sentenced. I interviewed Sam on this channel, and he shared some of the things. He was an officer of the law. He'd been in law enforcement for almost 30 years. 30 years. Well, he lost everything, family. He lost his position in life. Because of casino gambling, playing in the drac, cards and etc. So he got sentenced to prison, and he called me from prison while he was there, and then I lost track of Sam. Sam is an older man. He's very thin. He's brittle. I shouldn't say he's brittle. He's very strong-minded, but there was a point in his life where he took the revolver that he had and he was going to shoot himself because the gambling got so, it was so bad. Well, I got a letter from Sam. I was really excited to hear from Sam, and it was kind of sad. And I'm not going to read the letter, but it looks like they tried to kill him in prison. Law enforcement officer goes to prison. I don't think it's going to go well for you. Well, he made it through some horrible situations. They transferred him out of the prison that he was in. I think he might be getting out soon. I think he did 11, you're supposed to do 11 years in prison. So might do half of that. But wow, he survived a burst appendix, almost died from that. And they had to operate also while he was in prison. They didn't want to help this guy until he fell out on the floor and passed out in the cell. And he had to be taken to the hospital. Appendix and a brain tumor. He was having severe headaches. He was telling me in the letter, severe headaches, really, really bad. And they wouldn't help him. They wouldn't help him until he collapsed and passed out and then ended up in the hospital. They removed the tumor in his brain that was causing severe, severe headaches, and they removed his appendix. So he said, man, I feel like I'm a new man. He transferred him to another prison. It kind of brought tears to my eyes because I know Sam. I've seen him. I've had video calls, phone calls with him, and gambling will destroy your life. His son is a police officer also. I imagine his life was also impacted in the community. He was sheriff of the community in Ohio. I believe it was Allentown, if I'm correct, on the East Coast. So anyhow, I'm excited about the letter. All right, let me get and hopefully when he gets out, I'll interview Sam again. He'll be with us again and let him share his perspective of how he overcame a horrible, horrible nightmare of an addiction with gambling. All right, let me see. I have a question. I'm going to be playing. Let me see. Oh, welcome, Fulgencio Mesa. Wow, this has been a really numbers have been really high. Uh, Gambling, the deceitful temptation, or in Spanish I call it la desgracia de esperanzado. You are so correct, Santos. I admire you for what you are trying to accomplish with such a difficult disease. Well, thank you for being here. I really appreciate your comment, and I hope that you get something good out of this. We are going to be doing the Sundays. We may do a Wednesday podcast. I may do a Wednesday podcast coming up. So, with that said, let me break into this short video. It is on emotional intelligence. I believe you're going to enjoy some of this. It's rather interesting. So let's just pay a little bit of attention here. Hopefully, this will give you some more hope. Hope
is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions. Recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. In practical terms, this means being aware that emotions can drive our behavior and impact people, positively and negatively, and learning how to manage those emotions, both our own and others, especially when we are under pressure. We are emotional creatures who often make decisions and respond to stimuli based on our emotions. As a result, our ability to grow in EQ has an enormous impact in all of our relationships, how we make decisions and identify opportunities. EQ is enormously important. Through my work, I've identified 10 qualities that I believe comprise the emotionally intelligent person. I hope you gain value from this and learn to understand the ways you can influence your mind and the minds of others by growing emotionally every day in all that you do. I love this definition of empathy. Empathy is the capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within their frame of reference, i.e., the capacity to place oneself in another's position. There are two different types of empathy. A piece from the Greater Good Science Center at Other People's Emotions. We empathize. Self-awareness is how we see ourselves and also how we perceive others to see us. The second, external aspect, is always the most difficult to properly assess. Leaders who focus on building both internal and external self-awareness, who seek honest feedback from loving critics, and who ask what instead of why, can learn to see themselves more clearly and reap the many rewards that increased self-knowledge delivers. For yourself, ask the introspective questions. Yearn for knowledge and be curious. And for others, seek feedback in an honest, caring environment. Show me a curious person who's willing to learn and improve, and I'll show you a success story waiting to happen. When you're curious, you're passionate. And when you're passionate, you are driven to want to be your best. Your antennae are up to things you love, to wanting to grow and learn more. This learning mindset positively affects other areas of your life, like relationships. First, individuals with higher CQ are generally more tolerant of ambiguity. This nuanced, sophisticated, subtle thinking style defines the very essence of complexity. Second, CQ leads to higher levels of intellectual investment and knowledge acquisition over time, especially in formal domains of education, such as science and art. The most emotionally intelligent and resolute people are deep thinkers that analyze and process all new information that comes their way. They continue to analyze old information, habits, and ways of doing things to see if they can extract ways to improve. We're all analysts in the sense that we consciously think about all new information that comes our way. Savvy EQ individuals are problem solvers and everyday philosophers who contemplate
problem solvers and everyday philosophers. Yeah, babe. All right, we're gonna end here. Tristan, you're welcome to use some of my footage as long as I can see what's going out, and providing. Again, you know what I'm about, man. Anybody that knows my YouTube channel, has been on my Soldiers of Self Mastery website, knows that I'm a perfect man. No, well, I would like to at least know what it is that you're doing, and hey, if it's promoting, supporting gamblers, I'm all in. I just I like good surprises, not bad ones. Hopefully that answers. Yeah. All right. So that's great, because I know you've got a very, very creative mind. I know that I've seen some of your work. I see you, and I appreciate you, man. I hope that you're doing well. Again, it's not about who's. It's about us individually, right? We're going to come down to the end of the broadcast here again. Understand these emotions. Understand. Can you name 7 of them? That's your homework tonight. Can you name 7? It's good to know what's going on. Can I get an amen? Yeah. The 7-day challenge is on. Back again, right? Be sure to visit soldiersofselfmastery.com if you want a 45-minute strategy session with me. And why with me? What is so unique with me about me? I'm willing to take on any challenge. So if something is worth $25 or more to you, and you don't have the path, you don't have the way, the door's not opened, I'm inviting you to get into a strategy session, a brainstorming session room with me, eye to eye, video to video, however, mano a mano. We can even do it in person. If you're in the area and you're in California, man, we can get a cup of coffee, bam, hit it hard. 45 minutes, you can get a lot done as long as you are focused, right? As long as you're like laser focused and you know what. Santos, I've got this problem. Okay, can you say it clearly? Well, I just want help. No, that doesn't work, right? People say, I want help. It's like they're running, right? They're running from the monster. They're fast runners too, but they're saying, I want help, but they're running fast. They're getting away from the monster. They don't need any help. So the 7-day challenge is on. I'm gonna encourage all of you, whether it's Tristan, whether it's Fulgencio, whether it's let me see, Laura or Mark or Labrie, this old guy, John Smith, Caleb. I'm going to invite you to take 5 minutes today, tomorrow, 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes and start a meditation with yourself for 5 minutes. Where's my book? I talk about that in the little red book. I talk about 15-minute mornings I have another book, 15-minute mornings, Breakfast of Champions. 5 minutes, folks. Can I get a commitment? 5 minutes that you're going to just take 5 minutes and just think. Just do nothing for 5 minutes, just think, right? You get a piece of paper, pen, you might think something good, write it down. But please, take 5 minutes. Appreciate yourself for 5 minutes, if anything. You do that once a day, 5-minute meditation, appreciation for yourself. At the end of the week, man, you got like what, 35, 10, 15, 20. You got 35 minutes, 45 minutes, so you invested in yourself, and you're going to feel good. So here's the thing. Next time that you want to go for a soda, instead of going for the soda, go for a coconut water drink. Next time you go for your whatever it is that you want, maybe it's a bag of chips. You want a bag of chips, but instead you're thinking, well, I'm going to get something healthier, a piece of fruit. Go for that piece of fruit, and then feel what you experience when you're eating that piece of fruit versus the other thing that you would have taken in. Sit down and think, man, just that little gesture of going for the apple instead of the corn nuts. And as you're eating the apple, you're thinking, wow, you know what? I feel really good about myself. I did something. That little tiny move, we talking about hope, can be what you need. That little change, that little game, that little ritual, whatever it is, that challenge, if you will. How could you use this simple change to trick or change your behavior? All right, I'm done. We went overboard. 55 minutes. Jim, go ahead. Last words.
Yeah, we're talking about what is gambling, but I'm kind of changing my mind on the idea of gambling on yourself, because it's going to be a sure win. When, using that vocabulary, right, Santos, when you put in the sustained activity, okay? Like
Yeah.
spending 5 minutes, taking that effort, that work, in order to go ahead and learn a little bit about yourself, find out about yourself. You talk that video presentation was talking
Mhm.
about the analytical mind, right? We need to analyze ourselves, right? And once we know how we tick, what our triggers are, what we're made up of, then we can go ahead and start controlling things like our emotions, like intentional associations. Okay, it's
Mhm.
like, you know what, I get triggered by that, I'm going to start associating that exit, right, with a disgusting smell, disgusting feeling, a horrible feeling, where the casino is, or whatever, or the bar, whatever. I'm going to associate, I'm going to intentionally associate, that stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and bring into my mind, what is good, what is bad. It's like, I mean, I was talking to Eric today. I was talking to him about, everything around us are just tools. Everything in the world that we encounter are just tools. And we can go ahead and use them any way we want. But, how we use them is going to go and affect our lives, right? We can go ahead and take a knife, right? We can stab other people, we can stab ourselves, or we can go ahead and cut the rope that's binding our hands, right? You know, for about this addiction, right? So, knowing yourself, right? Putting the work in. So I'm going to go ahead and say that, what? It's a sure win. When you continuously keep working on yourself. You keep walking towards that
Mhm.
light. And when you keep on walking towards that light, you're going to go ahead and get that hope, that hope, that hope, right? It's going to grow, and it's going to go ahead, like Maxwell Maltz, right? Just keep on building up your victories. Keep on building up. Everyone has victories. Go back, work on little by little, building up your victories, and you can go ahead and we're talking about that kindling, something that'll
Mhm.
fuel our hope, right? So it takes work, right? It takes work.
Yep. And being here is one of them. So I want to thank everybody, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We've done our best here. We went over almost an hour now. I hope and pray that from you walked away with something in your pocket, something tangible, something that you can use, something Jim said, something I said, something someone else said in the comment section. With that said, we're going to be back here Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, with podcast number 337. 337. I'm done. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your support, good energy. I send you peace. I send you growth and prosperity. Until our next visit. I'll see you at the top on the inside.
Thanks,
Jim, thanks for hanging out.
thanks, Santos. You have a great week. Take care.
And thank you. Thank you. Laura, Mark, Fulgencio, Tristan, Laura, who else here? Make sure I get everybody. John, Michael Labreeze, Brian. Hopefully, we got your questions answered to the best of our ability. Dennis, Thistle Guy, Jubio, Caleb. Thank you. Come back. Tristan, Brian, who else? And Jesse, drink up. Jesse, all right.
Yeah, and don't forget the 45-minute session. Don't forget the 45-minute coaching session.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye bye.
All right. Peace.